Hi, and welcome to the Royster Real Estate Group, our top 10 questions. And today we decided to do the home inspection, the kind of the process and things like that. And so with us today is Todd Goodwin from Pillar to Post and the Todd Goodwin Group. And we appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having us.
Answer some questions. Yeah,
absolutely.
So to kind of get into this in the top 10 questions, why are inspections important to the home buying process?
Well, the inspections that we do, obviously, we're working most of the time for the buyers.
Yeah.
What we want to do is try to find out if we have any major issues in the house, whether there's high dollar items or safety issues that can be very important. It helps you guys in the sense of negotiations with those type of information. So really, that's I think one of the most important things is, hey, what kind of house are we walking into here?
Yeah.
Are we going to have to spend a bunch of money to get a bunch of things fixed, or are there safety things that can affect my family, things of that nature?
Yeah, so it's is it little things Home Depot fixes, or is it we need to find another house, one of those kind of deals?
Well, we do on kind of follow up on that. I mean, we are required to call out several things based on the real estate commission, but some of them, and the way we go through the process with the buyers is we explain that to them.
Sure.
Like, hey, this is a simple thing to fix.
Which is important to do.
Exactly. So we don't want to
Especially
alarm
first-time
them.
buyers, because first-time buyers don't know a lot of the mechanical things that are in a house.
Absolutely.
So kind of what is a home inspection and what isn't a home inspection? What's kind of that concept?
So a home inspection it's a visual inspection.
Okay.
Right. So when we go into a house, we're a guest in that house. Right.
Sure.
So we can't go in and we can't move their furniture. We can't move their belongings and stuff like that. So things that are accessible that we get to, but we do run through all the mechanicals. We're checking the structure, checking the electrical, things of that nature. But mostly visual.
And you're running everything. I'm talking about dishwashers, you name it. You're checking plugs. You're checking everything that's a part of it. You're not tearing into things like AC units.
Right. So we are limited on some of the things we can do. So, like you said, we can't break apart mechanical systems. Now, we can remove panels and stuff like that, but we're not testing for leaks or something like that on the ACs and things like that.
So how long is a typical inspection-ish?
So kind of the rule of thumb is basically an hour per 1,000 square feet. Okay, on a house. But if we're also if the house has like a pool or irrigation system, that adds a little additional time to it as well. But the rule of thumb is about an hour per 1,000 square feet.
Okay. And when you get to pricing, how does that kind of work in general, or what's the concept?
So the way we price is based on the square footage and the age of the home. So at the Goodwin Group here, we're not the cheapest on the block, but we're not the most expensive either. So
sometimes you get what you pay for in terms of cheapness.
Right. So, they're called cliches for that exact reason, right? So, I like to explain that to the clients as well. I mean, hey, you're spending $500,000 on a house. Do you really want to? I mean, it's $50.
Or find out later.
Right, exactly.
Which, like when you're selling and stuff. So,
right.
So tell me about kind of the licensing part of inspections real quick.
So in Texas here, inspectors are required to be licensed.
Okay.
It's a pretty rigorous training program that you go through and processes. We are licensed by the Texas Real Estate Commission, just like the agents.
Yeah.
And we have standards and practices that we have to follow as well.
Okay.
Right.
And so every deficiency, so when you're going through a report, you're pointing out every deficiency, but it's not to nitpick a home, it's to do your job that says, hey, we're supposed to be showing you anything we see.
Correct. So kind of go back to that first question we had where, we're calling out things, right?
Yeah.
But I call them honeydews.
Sure.
Right? Little small things that can be handled by the buyer or the seller, depending on how that negotiation goes. But relatively, yes, we're required to call out a number of things that aren't exactly what I would call a major deficiency in the house.
But that's your job, so
Right.
that's important.
Right.
So kind of number 7 on the list is what are the important areas you really, kind of focus on with the report or in terms of when you're bringing the attention to clients you may be talking to, what's kind of the big focus there?
The way I go about it and the way my team goes about it is the most important thing, obviously, is safety.
Sure.
Right? So I don't want anybody getting hurt in a house.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And the way I explain it to buyers is the same way. It's like I'm going to stress the safety things first.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to address the structural things
Sure.
that are going to need work, and then the mechanicals,
Okay.
right? So because those are really all safety for sure.
Yeah.
But then you're getting into the higher priced items as far as structure.
Yeah.
And then the mechanicals.
Yeah, and it's important because, again, you want to be able to feel comfortable that as you're buying this house, you know what may need to get fixed down the road if it's
Right.
maybe a smaller item or stuff like that, but you also don't want to find out down the road that there was something major that you go, oh boy, now there's
Right.
an issue. So it's very important for that part.
Absolutely.
So why occasionally do y'all have on there for further evaluation? What's that thought process?
So kind of the same thing we talked about as far as like not being able to bust into systems.
Sure.
Other contractors or professionals have specialized equipment.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. So say we're in a house and the AC is not performing properly or something. So it could be something as simple as, hey, it just needs a cleaning,
Yeah,
or maybe
cleaning
a
service.
charge or something like that. But
Okay.
again, we don't know exactly. So we want to bring in those other licensed professionals to give the
Yeah.
opinion on what needs to be done to get the system up and working.
Yeah, and I think it's important to understand with all the knowledge you have, and you have a ton of knowledge because I've done so many of these things, but I still look to you a lot of times and call you and go,
Right.
here's what I'm hearing, what's your thoughts on that, or
Right.
give me some more details.
So I kind of explain it like, inspectors are kind of like your general practitioner doctor, right?
Sure.
So you come in, you have a physical or whatever it may be, and the
Yeah.
doctor says, hey, we're hearing a little something on your ticker or whatever, so I'm going to send you over to see the specialist. So that's the way I kind of explain it, and that's
Okay.
kind of the way the process
I hope
works.
they don't hear anything on my ticker. I don't want it to be a bad thing, but-
That way, I know.
So one of the big things we also see real quick is why get an inspection on a new home? It's supposed to be new.
Right. Well, I find a lot of things on new homes too
Yeah.
that go wrong. So, I think that builders, they really want to do a good job, right?
Sure. I
But
think they do too.
everybody has a off day,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
electrician might come in there and forget something, or
Sure.
the framer or whatever it may be. So. And it's always great to pull those to the builder's attention
Yeah.
before you close on the home. So in other words, you don't want to get in your brand new home,
Yeah,
right?
you got
And
issues.
then you got issues, and then you're calling the builder back, and then that
Yeah.
leads to other things.
And I think it's also one trade is following another, and sometimes things can happen that direction. And one of the biggest things we see is we go to sell this home after they've lived in for so many years, and a lot of times they're fixing the same thing that should have been fixed from the start. It was always there.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely important. So,
Right.
so as an inspector, what's kind of your big goal for your client?
I want them to, at the end of the day, I want them to feel that they had a great inspection,
Sure.
a great customer experience with my team,
Yeah.
and that they feel safe going forward with the process in the home to keep the deal going.
Yeah.
And for them to move forward with their life into
Yeah.
this new home.
Yeah.
and
They feel
good
like it's
about
the
it.
right thing.
The right
They're,
decision.
they're comfortable moving forward and stuff
Exactly.
like that.
Exactly.
Hey, we appreciate you coming out
Thanks
again.
for having me.
Todd Goodwin with the Pillar to Post and the Goodwin team, and we're Peter and Vicki Royster. She'll be doing some of these too, which she'd probably be better in front of this camera than me. And we're with Royster Real Estate Group, and we are happy that you got a chance to see this. If there's other questions you have for us, for Todd, please post them for us because this will be on Facebook and YouTube and things like that. But post them for us. We'd love to hear from you, and we hope you'll continue to watch as we keep doing more of these top 10 questions. Thanks for watching.